Hello, friends, and welcome to the 2022 edition of the Honorary Bearcat Football League Preview Edition. I'm your host, Nathan Stetzer. Alongside me, Stephen B. Kennedy.
Thank you, Nathan. It's very exciting to be here for our fifth video in a row. This year, of course, we're not choosing the draft order. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what the fuck are they going to talk about in the draft lottery video? And the answer is we're going to discuss a breakdown of last season. And then we're going to have a few talking points discussing people that we like in the coming up season, people that we don't like. And by people, I mean owners. Because this year's going to be way different. Of course, everyone knows this already, but we're doing the auction draft. Some of you PC liberals out there might call it a salary cap draft. Here in the Bearcat League, we don't care about being PC. We don't care about people's feelings. We just go out there and have fun. So, Nathan, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You hit it nail on the fucking coffin. I mean, it's gonna come down to who is the best and who is not the best. It's that simple. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it any other simpler than that. I'm excited to talk about what happened last year and what is going to happen this year. And before we do, can we take a moment to talk about our sponsor, Stephen?
Yes, our new sponsor this year is Loch Lomond Single Malt Whiskey out of Scotland. It is the official malt whiskey of the Open Championship and the official malt whiskey of the Honorary Bearcat League. We're very excited to have them this season. I can tell you firsthand, I've had, almost a bottle of this stuff now, and I can't feel my fucking face. So I think it's pretty damn good.
My face is numb, but I am ready to talk about what is going to happen in this year's season.
Yes.
So without further ado, what happened last year, Steve? What the fuck happened last year?
Well, what happened last year? You got Tranel and his dad. Tran brought on board the Master Jedi, Tom Tranel, and I mean, it's a genius move.
It is.
It's a genius move.
I'm shocked.
And of course, it's no secret the gods are very, very favorable towards the Tranel squadron. And I think it was pretty much that single move, the bringing Tom on board, that won him that championship. Yep. Another member we got to talk about, not Nate Noble. I mean, he resurrected himself from the cellar. He made it to the championship game. A lot of people doubted him. But
I truly believe Nate Noble being called a cellar dweller made him resurrect himself to the top.
That many years in the cellar,
I think that affected him.
It's pretty hard on a man, and I can speak for that. I've been in the cellar myself. Yeah. I climbed my way out last year too. And I think I can speak for Nate by saying there is no better feeling than climbing your way, clawing up that staircase and sliding open that door and just being out of the cellar. It's a pretty amazing feeling. Of course, Nate Noble didn't win the championship, but that's not to say that he's not going to be a contender again this year. I mean, the guy puts in the work. He's preparing just as much as any other owner. So, don't be shocked if he's right up there near the top again this coming season.
I'm not going to put him down in the cellar anymore.
No, I think Knob's cellar dwelling history is exactly that. It's history.
So we got Dzik third, you fourth, Stevie K fourth, and Taylor Steele fifth, and Labrador Retriever sixth. Those are four really good teams. Are they going to be good in the auction draft? Are all four of them going to be effective?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think definitely Taylor Steele is going to be a force.
You hope? Well,
I mean,
if he's not, then what is he doing?
He really spearheaded this auction draft thing. Of course, it's not easy to make these changes.
Guaranteed.
It's not easy to make these changes in our league, and Taylor's been trying to push for this for 2 seasons. So I would be shocked if he does anything but come out with a very good team after the draft.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yep.
In the bottom half, 7 through 12, we have Kyle Paul, Nathan Groshek, Chris Kaler, Sam Helming, myself, and Ethan. Where do you see the differentiation between those guys? Who is going to be better than the other?
Honestly, out of that grouping, I don't see very many of those guys climbing their way out. I especially Ethan and yourself, I see you guys pretty much residing down there near the bottom. I don't think you're going to come out of the auction draft with a very good team. I don't think you have very much time to prepare. I think your time is pretty much dictated already. And this auction draft is going to take a lot of preparation. Ethan, too. I mean, Ethan, he's got his eggs in a lot of different baskets. And I don't think that the auction draft preparation basket is very high on the priority list.
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit. I think the bottom feeders of this year's season is going to be Giroux, Kaler, and I think Sam Helming. Having 2 kids, it's hard to play. You got to be 100% committed in the auction draft. I think those 3 are the bottom feeders. Maybe if Hannah helps out Chris, maybe he suits
I don't know.
up.
So, when it comes to the auction draft, of course, it's no secret. Chris isn't going to be able to make it to the live auction. He's going to be drafting somewhere in fucking bumfuck Egypt, Wisconsin, from a campsite, probably on his phone. Poor internet reception. He's got Hannah chirping in his ear about, take Josh Allen for fucking $40. I could see it going all to shit really quickly.
It could go south.
It could go very poorly. And
there's one guy that we really need to talk to. It's Kyle Powell. Can Kyle Powell figure out the auction draft? I don't think he's ever done an auction draft in his life. I worry about Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a very successful owner thus far. Yep. Everyone knows he's got a gambling problem. The kid cannot read or write, but I mean, he's been a great owner. Last year, he started off with a very poor team, but he was able to rejuvenate that whole team into at least somewhat respectable team by the end of the year. Of course, it was nowhere near contention, but he was dealing with complete dog shit in his right hand and dog shit in his left, and he managed to make something out of it. If he has a season like that again this next season, he's going to be pretty upset, and I'm sure everyone is going to hear about it.
I'm a little bit worried about Kyle Paul, but in closing, who is your champion? Who is your champion?
Man,
in 2022.
That's a tough pick.
Your champion.
It's really hard to not pick myself. Obviously, if I'm not picking myself,
don't pick yourself.
My champion for this coming season.
I think he resides out of Alaska, doesn't he?
Yeah, I honestly, I think my champion is Taylor Steele. He's won it twice already. He's pushed the auction and won. He's got the cards are literally in his favor. Everything he's asked for, everything he's wanted has worked out.
If he doesn't win this year,
he's becoming the Tom Brady, the Bill Belichick of our league, and I think, you're stupid to bet against the guy.
But if we can put about it, if he doesn't win this year, that's kind of a letdown for Taylor.
Well, not necessarily a letdown. It's
kind of embarrassing.
I would say if he isn't...
I think it's kind of embarrassing.
If he isn't a top team this year, then it's embarrassing. Winning a championship in this league is tough, regardless.
I would be embarrassed.
If he's in the bottom half of this season, then that's pretty embarrassing. Considering, you were out here pushing for the auction draft, so you better pull through and. What about you, Stats? Who do you think? Who's your pick for the year?
My winner. I can't pick myself because I would.
He would.
But my winner, I'm gonna go with. I really am going to go with Colin McEwen. I think Colin McEwen is a smart owner. I think he knows. I think he doesn't tell you, but I think he's been researching auction draft. I'm going to pick Colin McEwen as my winner. And for Stephen Kennedy and Nathan Stetson.
Hold on a second. Before we move on, I want to ask you another question, a little follow-up. Who do you think is new to the cellar this year? One of the teams that was...
I think Tran's going to be back to the cellar.
I agree. I got to agree.
Suck.
I mean, like I said earlier, he's a respectable team. There's no reason to bet against the guy, but...
Love you. Doesn't mean I don't
He's got a track record of having a really good team and then a really bad team.
Yep.
He won last year. This might be a lull.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
I just don't trust the system. The system doesn't seem to check out.
He has been one that, maybe isn't the strongest drafter in the league. I think that being that we're switching to auction,
that'll have an effect.
The challenge, it's gone from here. to up here. So, you know, it's hard to say, but I don't think that he drafts well. Hopefully that him and his teammate, the Master Jedi, can resurrect a team throughout the year. But yeah, I think he falls this year. I don't think he's getting close to a championship.
I think Drew's going to have a little issue too.
Yeah, Drew.
Do not trust Drew
he also wasn't a good team last year, so it doesn't really fall into the category. But I think we can all agree that he's not going to be a contender.
Right.
I also want to discuss, what are your thoughts on our new owner, Nick Dzik, his first season last year? What were your thoughts? Were you impressed by his play?
I think Dzik got a little lucky. I'm going to be honest. I'm not saying Dzik is not smart when he comes to fantasy. I just think he got a little bit lucky. I think there's a little bit of downfall for Dzik.
Yeah,
I think he drops a little.
I can see two things happening. Last season, it was a new year for him. New team, new league. And I wasn't super impressed.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing about his play during the waivers made sense to me.
Yeah.
There was opportunities for him to make big moves, and he didn't make them.
Yep.
Which made me question his aggressiveness.
Yep. Agreed.
In the end, he ended up being the third best team in the league. So, you know, you can't look too far into that because he still had a successful season.
Yep.
But you know, on the other hand, I can see him continuing to build and still being a top 3-4 team in the league. But,
sure.
You know, if I had any advice to him, I would say you got to be more aggressive in the waivers. When you have an opportunity to get a guy, spend the money. You know, don't sit back, especially late in the year. Spend that money. Build the team.
When you're playing in a league like this, there's a fine line between being good and being bad. And I think it's possible that the top heavy guys at the year before will struggle this season. But we'll see. We'll see. Everybody has their own fighter's chance, and I wish everybody well. And Stevie.
Sorry, it's live television, folks. Excuse me for that.
Stevie K there.
Well, I think that's just about all the time we have this evening, so we're going to sign off. Nathan?
For Stephen Kennedy and Nathan Stetzer, cheers.
Cheers, folks, and good luck this season.